What if chasing enough keeps you stuck? What if safe is too safe? Too safe is too small? Why stop at enough when you're made for more? Never settle for less.
Well, most of y'all know that me growing up, I grew up pretty dang country, y'all. I grew up in a farm town surrounded by cows and crops. Normal activities for me as a kid coming up included hunting, fishing, bonfires, building forts, shooting stuff, blowing stuff up. And on summer nights, not unlike the nights that we're experiencing now, we did ourselves a little bit of bullfrog gigging. You guys know what I'm talking about? You ever bullfrog gigged before? No, you ain't done that. I did it a lot. Now, bullfrog gigging usually involves stabbing a frog with some spikes on the end of a stick or something like that, because you would cook them up and you would eat them. And we did that as kids and grown up. Don't get me wrong. Like, you ever fry up some bullfrog legs and have them for dinner? You put a little salt on them when they're in the pan. They start kicking and seasoning around. It's awesome. Is it time for lunch yet? Son of a gun. But I didn't always kill them and cook them and eat them. Sometimes I like to just catch a bullfrog and just look at them, because they're awesome. They're kind of like dinosaurs, and they are humongous. I even brought a bullfrog to elementary school for show and tell one time, just to show my friends. They did not think it was as cool as I thought it was, but nevertheless, that's my childhood. That's where I came from. You might be asking yourself, Ren, if you catch them on a gig with a spiky stick, they would most certainly die. So how did you gig them? Whoop, Aggies. How'd you gig them without killing them? Well, I'm glad you asked. We did that with a spotlight, of course. Now, how does that work? More on that later. But for now, we're going to get into the word, which is Psalm 119. We're going to be in the Bible, so open up there, get on your phone, whatever you got to do to get into Psalm chapter 119. Now, as you get there, I want to set it up, because this is one of my favorite chapters in the entire Bible. And if you've spent any time with me or gone through discipleship or whatever, you know I will nerd out on Psalm 119 all day long. And I want to give you a taste, give you a sliver here now, and just for a couple seconds, tell you some of the most fascinating things about this really cool chapter of the Bible. First off, it has more verses than any other chapter in the entire Bible. It has 176 verses in Psalm 119. Also, nobody knows who wrote it, and it is commonly referred to as the orphan psalm by theologians, and it is incredibly crafted. It's a bummer we can't give any credit where it's due, but this thing is a literary marvel and masterpiece. Here's why. The first 8 verses of the 176 all start with the Hebrew letter Aleph, which is kind of like the English A equivalent. So every line starts with the letter A, essentially, right? And it does that for the first 8 verses. Now, the next 8 verses all begin with the Hebrew letter Bet, which is like B, and so on and so forth all the way down. Now, I love this because in groups of 8, as you reach the end, 176, you'll take 176, divide it by 8, and you end up with 22. And that's exactly how many letters are in the Hebrew alphabet. So this chapter talks about God in a beautiful way and takes us alphabetically in increments of 8 all the way through it. It's so cool that stuff's baked in. You would never catch that in the English language, by the way. Like, you're probably looking at it right now, like every line doesn't start with the same contiguous sequence of letters and groups of 8. That's because you can only catch it in ancient Hebrew. So you're welcome. Today we're going to be in verse 105, which is in the Nun, or like the letter N section of Psalm 119. Now, the psalmist writes to God in chapter 119, verse 105. He says, "Your word, God, your word," like the Bible you're holding in your hand, "is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path." Now, this seems simple, and maybe you've heard it before. You're like, yeah, the word of God is kind of like a light or a lamp, like, sure, whatever, we get it, move on, right? But let's think about it a little bit deeper. Have you ever tried to walk through a house in the middle of the night? Like when it is pitch black and you got to wake up in the middle of the night and you got to go get yourself a midnight milk. That's what I'm doing. And my arms are out in front of me like I'm feeling around for stuff. I'm like, oh God, help my knee not get blown out on a couch. Help my shin not get absolutely destroyed by a coffee table. Help me not to step on something or someone, because God only knows what's going on in my house. It could be a cat. It could be a kid. It's wild work in my house in the middle of the night. But you're wandering through, the point is, you're wandering through the darkness, and it's mysterious, and it is unknown. And life can kind of feel like that for us, right? We're navigating this thing, and it's mysterious and it's unknown. We don't know what lurks in the darkness and in the shadows and around the corner that might be trying to gig us, might be trying to get us. We don't know. This is the first time we've ever lived this life, right? There are things like friendships and relationships and heartbreak that this is the first time we're navigating how to handle these situations. As we grow up and we wonder what we're going to go into for our college or our career, what to do, what not to do, what decisions to make. Financial strain we experience, global catastrophes we experience, social media, gossip, violence, injustice, and God forbid you add God, Jesus, the Bible, theology, what I believe and why I believe it, put it on top of all of that, try to look through that lens and then navigate through the darkness. Like it seems hopeless. It seems treacherous. It's a wonder how anyone does it and makes it out without crippling anxiety or depression or addiction or falling into temptation over and over again and getting so overwhelmed with discouragement that you just want to quit and give up. But we can't. We got to keep going, right? We need a light. We need a lamp. Because just like me, this is all of your first time living this life, right? We're just trying to figure it out one step at a time and do our best, kind of making it up as we go along. Some of us don't have as much support as others do. So what do we cling to? Well, the psalmist is saying we got to, if anything, cling to this lamp that can be used to help light your path. And that's exactly what a lamp is good for. Because the truth is, we don't know where the path is headed. I could go and get hit by a bus tomorrow. I don't know. That might, God forbid it happens, but like you guys statistically will live a long and prosperous life, long, healthy life, okay? Like that's most likely. And I pray that that's true for you and for me. But the fact is, we don't know. We don't know the end of our story. Looking a little even closer into our future, you don't know how your high school career is going to end up. I don't want to be grim or paint like a scary, I'm not trying to freak anybody out, but good things could happen to you, but also bad things could too that are completely out of your control. I was at a school recently and we did like a lockdown drill, fire drills. Like those are just drills, but stuff really happens. You don't know who you're going to marry. You don't know if the current relationship is going to last or if they're going to break up or what. Like you don't know what's going on. You don't know what your parents' relationship is going to look like in 10 years or if they're even going to have a relationship in 10 years. The statistics in America would unfortunately say more than likely they might not. And that sucks. I don't know about you, but I want to know how it ends sometimes. I've prayed that prayer. I've asked God, like, Lord, just show me. Give me a sign. Give me an answer. Give me a clue. Like, if I could just see, like, who I end up with, or am I going to be rich or am I going to be poor? Like, what? Just so I know what to prepare for. Like, is it all going to be okay? I just want to know. Like, will you just show me? I'm begging with God. Have you ever begged and prayed like that before? And God just doesn't? How mean? How messed up? Ugh. But it's normal. Hear me say this. What you're experiencing, what you're feeling, what you're wanting is normal. It is normal and okay to want to know if we will be okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I just want to know. That's not what a lamp does, though. That's what a spotlight does. And God doesn't shine a spotlight on our life. He doesn't shine a spotlight in the room or the darkness that is our world. Why? We want that, don't we? We just want it all to be illuminated, all to make sense, right? But I actually think, might be a hot take, but I think and I wonder if God, in his vast, unending knowledge, kind of keeps us from seeing the whole picture. He doesn't overwhelm us with all of that. He protects us from it, and he instead promises to walk alongside us every step of the way, not with a spotlight, but with a lamp, saying, I'm here with you. You can't know it all. You shouldn't, but you can know what the next step is. So here's a lamp. When you shine a spotlight on a bullfrog, it paralyzes them. They literally can't handle it. That's how I'd catch them as a kid. You hit them with a spotlight and they're so overwhelmed with so much sensory input that they freeze. And they're like, what is happening? What is going on? And that's how they get got. They can't handle it. And I wonder if kind of God is like that. We're the bullfrog in this scenario. I've now called us sheep, bullfrogs. What's next, man? You don't know. But God, he's got to know better. If he's really the creator and sustainer, the all-knowing, all-powerful, all-present leader of the universe, Lord of our lives, we got to trust him that a lamp's better than a spotlight. So, for some examples, I don't know if you and your boyfriend or your girlfriend are going to get back together. I don't know where that leads. There's no spotlight on it. I'm not God, neither are you, and we never will be. But the lamp says that you can experience peace in the middle of the struggles and the uncertainty. We've talked about that over the past couple of weeks. For those of us going out for a team or trying to make it into some sport or whatever, I don't know if you're going to make it. I don't know. But I know you can do your best, because do everything as if you're doing it unto the Lord. You can do it for God's glory, whether you make it or you don't, because that's what it says in the lamp. I don't know if you're going to be super wealthy or struggle financially or what. I don't know. But I know you can be a good steward of what God has entrusted you with, because that's what it says in his word. I don't know where your reputation will take you. I don't know if you'll be popular, if everyone will make fun of you, or what, where your social status is going to be. But I know that you can treat others with kindness and respect and honor and integrity, because that's what we're called to do. I don't know if you're going to pass the class or ace the test, but I know that you should not cheat on it. And guess what? Everything and more, every step, every question you have, you might not see the big picture, but the small pictures, the answers are all in the lamp, or they're in God's word. And you have been provided with that. It is there for you, easily accessible. And I want to read the rest of this section, the noon section of Psalm 119, starting in 105, and just show you that since the beginning of time, this is thousands of years ago, this writer, this person that we don't even know their name, was struggling, pleading with God, begging for answers, unsure and uncertain. But watch how they trust the lamp, right? Look at this, 105. Your word is a lamp unto my feet, a light unto my path, right? We just read that. I have taken an oath and confirmed it. It's like, I promise you that I will follow your righteous laws. Like, I'm going to abide by this instruction manual. I have suffered much. He's been through it. We don't know what that looks like. He could have experienced divorce. He could have experienced abuse. He could have experienced self-harm, anxiety, depression, fear, loneliness, rejection, all of it. I've suffered much. Preserve my life, Lord, according to your word, the lamp. Accept, God, the willing praise of my mouth and teach me your laws. Like, I'm going to praise you. I'm going to worship you in the middle of the storm, right? The wicked, though I constantly take my life in my hands. Like, the ability to take my own life is in my own hands. We could do this at any time. This person is suicidal. They've literally thought, like, man, I could just end it right now. But what? I will not forget your law. I'm not going to forget your law. I'm going to keep on walking. The wicked have set a snare for me. There's people lurking in the shadows and in the darkness. But what? I have not strayed from your precepts, your thoughts. I'm on your mind, God. Your statutes are my heritage forever. I'm going to inherit the things, the blessings, the gifts that you've given me. They are the joy of my heart. You can experience joy in the middle of absolute and utter chaos. My heart is set on keeping your decrees to the very end. And who knows when the end is? I don't, you don't, we don't. God does. We trust him with the process. God usually shows us the next step. I could put it like this. God usually shows us the next step, not the whole staircase. The whole staircase is his to see and his to see only. Don't know how long or how high it goes or what. Don't know if it twists and winds or if there's different missing stairs along the way. That's for him, but he's going to show us the next step. And I like that he says that his word, the God's word, is a lamp unto our feet and a light unto our path. It's different. He's like, it's not a lamp unto my feet and to my path. It's a light for my feet, but a light unto our path because God built the staircase. He is the light. He is the light of the world, right? He gives us a lamp to use. Meanwhile, he is the light. Let's think about light for just a second. Do you know that the universal speed limit is light? This is going to sound a lot like God here. Listen up. It's like, if God is light, what does that mean? Nothing in the universe goes faster than light. Top of the universe, God's creator of the universe. Check it out, right? Also, like God, light literally has no experience of time. Remember how we say God is outside of time and space? So is light. Isn't that crazy? Because it's so fast, the faster you get to the speed of light, the slower actually time moves. And when you catch it, time is imperceivable if you're actually moving at the speed of light. Things like infrared and ultraviolet and gamma rays, which are the most powerful, actually, forms of light, they're there doing their thing all the time, all around us, all over the place, just like God is, even though we can't see him. There are some lights that we can see. This is a narrow slice of all the light that's really around us, acting and functioning all the time in our universe. Sounds like God, right? It's crazy the biblical author didn't know this science and was already calling God light. They didn't know how deep that analogy really went. It's supernatural. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. We just sang about that earlier. It's pretty insane, right? God is paving your path with light you can't even see. Do you trust him? Do you believe that? That's faith. Walk with him. Use the lamp that you have been provided. Because just a little light can make a big difference. If you light a match in a big dark room, you won't be able to see it all, but it matters a lot. It's the difference between you stepping in a hole and staying on solid ground. We finish this series next week. But between now and then, I wanted to encourage you and maybe even challenge you with something. Since we're talking about a lamp and how it helps us take each small little tiny step, I want to just give you a little tiny step to take every single day between now and the next time we get together next Sunday. And what it is just one verse a day. I'm not going to tell you the verse, but I will tell you the address. And I'll even make it easy for you and put it on the screen so you can take a picture of it. You can write it down in your notes app or whatever. And so here it is. But my challenge for you is to just read one of these a day. Don't even skip ahead. Don't read them all today or all tomorrow. Just read one and be done. So you got Psalm 119, 105. You can count that for today if you want. 1 John 1, 7. For those of us listening on a podcast. Ephesians 5, 8. John 8, 12. Proverbs 3, 5 through 6. Psalm 37, 23. John 1, 5. Read one of those every day between now and the next time we get together. It can't hurt. It's better than probably to not do that, right? Might as well. And just see what happens. Ask yourself this question as you read it every single day. What step might God be lighting up for me today? What step might God be lighting up for me today? Ask him that, read the verse, pray, and see what happens. Trust God with the next step. And we'll see you next week.